Is there one player or coach that you would consider the toughest person to interview?
Toughest interview. I mean, I would say the ones that challenge you are the ones that, and it's again kind of goes back to that protective nature of this league. It's not even so much like it's a abrasive situation, but it's like they don't want to open up. So I mean, I'll go back in time. I mean, the ones that always made, like interviewing Gronk back in the day, especially when it'd be like an on-camera post game, like you could tell there was the answer he wanted to give and then the answer he knew he should give. And I think specifically to a divisional round game, they had just beaten the Chiefs. And he had been dealing with probably was a back injury, some injury. He was always beat up, such a tough dude. And I had thought all game, or even leading up, like if I interview Gronk, I've got a way of framing a question, and this is where I could really nerd out with you. Like framing of questions to me is the most important thing, because you can. That's where it becomes the sort of the boxing match with somebody you're interviewing and somebody who could be challenging, or somebody who doesn't want to answer a question or doesn't want to open up. If you frame it a certain way, you box them, you paint them into a corner where they have to get out, unless they just say, no, I'm not going to answer that. But you know what I mean? So whatever, fast or rewind back to this divisional round game against the Chiefs. It was I asked it in a certain way where he actually kind of, I think, froze for a moment and smiled because he saw what I was doing and it clicked with him. And to Gronk's credit, he was still able to give me the Patriot approved answer without giving too much. But he comes to mind in that form. But nobody's. I always say that the beauty of our situation. I'm now. I could have to do it Sunday, and I'll have to do it Super Bowl Sunday. I'm usually interviewing people in moments of joy. They've won, or it's ahead of a big game. There might be some nerves there, but they're not sad. They're not upset. We do in-game interviews for the NCAA tournament, so those ones have been challenging. I'm sure I thought more. I could think of one that didn't go great, but again, most of the time it's a moment of joy, so it's not tough. But those posts, I've done a few of the AFC Championship losing coach, and then I've done, because Tracy, because she's our lead reporter and deserves this, she takes the winning interview in the Super Bowl, no matter the winner. So I've got loser duty, and man, those have been tough. Ron Rivera that first year, God, he was such a class act. Sean McVay, class act, and then I had Andy on Zoom, like on a two-way during that COVID Super Bowl, which was odd because I don't think I even saw him. I just heard his voice. So those ones, you really have to be on your game in terms of like using a sensitive tone while also having to ask the right question. I know specific to last year was Zach Taylor and the Bengals. Remember that, I'm forgetting his name, the defensive lineman who pushed Mahomes out of bounds that extended that drive that basically gave the Chiefs that AFC Championship game. That's a question you got to ask about. And so it was in the moment thinking, how do I respect where Zach's coming from as a coach, but also have him address what was the pivotal play in the game, or felt like it, at least in the moment. So those are challenging. I appreciate those moments, but they're probably, going back to your initial questions, the harder ones to do.